All right, welcome everybody to Tazewell County. We've got harvest time. Oh, and I need to start my engine first. Silly me. This episode, we've got quite the convoy going over here. We're going to be harvesting corn, and one of the ladies on the server, Katrina, right there. She does not know necessarily how to drive an auger wagon properly. There is kind of a science to it. It's not difficult once you know what to do, but there is a lot of things to think about and a lot of coordination that has to happen. In real life, we're doing a little bit different than real life. In real life, of course, she'd be on radios with, or some type of communication with the combine and the tractors, or in the semi rather. But I actually can't see left very well, so I'm gonna hop outside the cab there, and it does not look like anything is going on. Everybody is, I guess nobody's going to work at 7:24 in the morning. So let's drive down the road and hope we don't hit a car, or otherwise we're going to have to, well, not hit a car. Hope we don't encounter a car, because we'll have to slow down and get off the road. So let's actually, this is going to be hard, because I want to get a nice little shot of everybody else there, but I also don't want to hit a car. So anyway, cats, we're going to be showing you guys how to operate an auger wagon properly. The first role of the auger wagon driver, I like to call it an Augineer. It's I always joke with my brother how I was the best Augineer east of the Mississippi, or just I don't know, whatever I make up. But anyway, it's the first priority of the auger wagon driver is to keep the combine running smoothly, and so they kind of look to the combine first to empty them whenever needed so that they are moving. The second role is kind of tied together. It's they try to minimize compaction, stay out of the combine's way when they're backing up. So this is also, Katrina's on the other line here. You'll probably hear her voice in a little bit talking, asking questions. But there's nobody in front of us. I'm going to unfold and get started with the end rows here. So basically what she's going to do is she's going to actually park on the side of the road. She's not going to turn into the field yet, because I need to be able to back out of the same path that I am coming into right now. So if she pulls in behind me, I will hit her as I back up. Basically, there's if you remember from how we planted a 24, not 24, 24? Yeah, 24 end rows down here. So that's what we did. One second, I gotta get things started here. I need to unfold. Of course, I was folded up for driving on the road. What am I thinking? So yeah, I'm going to open up the field on this side, and then she's going to be able to move in behind me. I did unfold you. I guess it wasn't unfolded all the way. There we go. So let's start driving the combine now. And we want to open up, one second here. Just got to do the drive control thing. And we're going to open up the field, and I'm going to back basically straight out. And then she is going to, missing a row on the left there. After I get this second row started, there should be enough room for her to pull in behind me, basically on the end rows. So that's the plan. And then, like I was talking about her job, right? It's her second job is we have only one semi. So we're going to be trying to move that semi. We're going to move as much grain as possible to sell it over at the Tremont Co-op. So that way we can hopefully buy a new field in the fall, maybe. I know that's not typically realistic. Typically you buy fields or you transition in the off season, so the farmer plants and then he gets what he outputs. Or he gets the output what he inputs. But we're going to be doing things a little bit differently here. Actually, let me switch to the header there. And actually, that shouldn't matter. I have that set to lower. Maybe I didn't. Oh, that's weird. Maybe it doesn't lower this function. Okay. So now, right, Kat's being good, and she is not pulling in. So I've got to, depending on how I planted this field, I think I planted this field correctly, where what I'm going to do now is, how I would have planted this field in real life is, and this is why you always have to think ahead when you're planting corn, because, for example, the end rows here, if I would have planted another 24 end rows in the exact same length that I already did, then I'm going to basically be messing up trying to get in. So what I would have done is I would have planted a little bit along the other side. We're going to back up into this guy's yard real quick. Annex making sure that we, you know, typically when you first open up a field, you drive along, you walk alongside the combine just to make sure all the settings are correctly. So that's what he's working on, and we got to pull in straight here. But this is typically how you would do it. You want to try to leave room for the combine, right? So I would have planted these end rows all the way down the field. So we're just going to go a little bit down here, just enough to be able to open up the rest of our end row. And then, so like right about now we can stop. Now, see, this is part of the game I hate. You can see in real life, you know, those would be diagonal alongside the road because that's how we closed out the field. I planted that row finally down along here. So now this is going to be a little bit hard because we're going to be backing into the ditch just slightly. But I think it's going to have to be good enough. So we don't want to knock over any corn. We kind of have to go in straight here. And kind of slipping a little bit there as we get things going. And I think I was off a little bit at the beginning. Okay, so now Cat could probably pull in and wait just a little bit longer. She could kind of pull into the left of me, but not... she doesn't want to go down to the end of the field because I'm going to have to use the end to turn around and open up, basically drive down across the field, open up the other side of the field. So we're going to be doing the same process down there. However, she's going to follow me at a distance because, again, she doesn't want to, you know, she doesn't want me to back into her. That's a big no-no. So the auger wagon driver, you know, as you can see, it's really hard to see out of your mirrors from inside of the cab when you're driving a combine. So the auger wagon driver typically stays back a ways, but they do follow the combine because I am going to need to unload probably at the other end of the field at some point when we get down there. So here's what's going to happen. I'm going to go in, and as soon as we get in a little bit, I'm going to set up GPS. And I really wish that the rows aligned perfectly with GPS. Sometimes it's a little hard. Sometimes you're off just a little bit. Okay, so I think we're fine there. Let's set up GPS. Look at that. I think we're just about pretty good. It looks pretty straight. So let's take away the lines. Let's, I think we're good, actually. So let's just minimize that there. We'll hit the GPS, and we will be off. And let me just hit cruise control so I can talk a little bit more. So at some point, I think I should be able to make it to the end. Else I should have... Yeah, we'll be able to make it down to the end. And then I'm going to open up just enough ground down there so that... I don't think I'll be able to open up that entire end of the field before I get full. So the goal is to try to open up just enough so that I can offload onto Cat before I get full. And then if you're full and you have to try to turn around, and it just gets really messy. So Cat could be coming down behind me just a little bit, really slowly, just maintaining maybe like 100 feet behind me or something like that. The semis, to get them off the road, the semis could also probably come in now onto the end rows on this side of the field. I don't know if they've already done that or not. Yeah, it looks like they have, I think. So it looks like we missed a spot there. Oh, we did have a problem where I did not have the wheels adjusted properly in the sprayer, so we might accidentally see some wheel lanes on some of these corn rows. I forget. I don't think it's this field, but yeah, so that's about as close as she'd want to follow me. Maybe back up just a little bit. Yeah, basically slow down and kind of park it a little bit there until I get turned around a little bit more. And then we're going to try to open up this field. And now this part's a little bit trickier. It's a little bit tighter. We don't want to knock any corn over, and we also don't want to run any beans over. And we have the fence to worry about coming up, so we're going to take it off GPS a little bit. And so here, when you plant, you typically have these rows go all the way through. Else you're gonna have to try to harvest perpendicular, and that's just ugly. So we're gonna back up here, and ideally, actually, this is tricky. I actually don't know the best way to do this in real life. Maybe the best way would have been to kind of just work your way into another row. So, for example, you do knock down a little bit of corn doing this, but this is where my when my brother's in the auger wagon and I'm doing this is when he gets out and walks the field in this exact spot, looking for down corn that the combine knocked over when trying to work yourself in. So remember, this would be another row going lengthwise. This would be another long row, essentially, that we would be on right now. So then we kind of be getting over to the end rows and going straight. And as soon as we get over there, okay, there we go. And now we get to go back onto the end rows. So, and now here's another problem that I hate with the game, because I planted these end rows along a curve, but because of the game engine, they're all gonna be like it's gonna look like a road, like I'm gonna be driving not on the rows, but well, you'll see what I mean here. So I'm gonna turn here, and oh, am I a little bit too close to the fence there? I think I am, and actually, I think I need to fix this mod just slightly, because it appears that the header is rubbing on the ground just a little bit. So this is a vanilla in-game header, converted with MR. The combine was my own convert, of course, but it has not been tested, and we hit a fence post. And basically, Kat's going to want to stay on the end there. She's not going to want to be following me. I don't know if she is or not, but
no,
so yeah.
I'm staying here.
Okay, just making sure. Yeah, we're getting a little bit. It's always hard to tell with depth, but I guess I was touching the fence there. Okay, let's just switch to outside view. This is where GPS along the curb would be really helpful. But all right, so then we basically have to do the same thing to this end, come back and unload onto Cat, and the field should be roughly opened up. There is one little section down there that is not opened up. We're gonna have to come back and do that later, but that shouldn't be a problem. Okay, so now, actually, what we're gonna do is we're gonna go back all the way. I'm gonna just start, and Kat's gonna come along beside me, and we'll unload. Instead of trying to get into that field, into that corner, it'll be really, really messy. So yeah, if you want a real life experience, try backing up like this. And yeah, we're knocking over a lot of corn. It is, some things are easier in real life. Although it is really, really hard to back up along a curve on a road crop without knocking over anything. So that's kind of the experience that I just had there. All right, so
we always have the issue with depth perception with the game.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it's we talked about that a little bit. It's your no matter how much 3D the game is, it's always put on a 2D screen, and yeah. So actually, Kat's gonna want to come up. Whoops. Where's my auger? Whoops. How did I? Hold on, guys. Hitting the wrong buttons. So that was the fold, really?
If your brother saw you doing this.
Yeah. Well, in real life, I'm pretty sure there's a way to lock the head so you wouldn't accidentally fold it up. Okay, so now come along beside me, Kat. And I'll just dump onto you right here.
Oh, we're just gonna do a static dump sort of thing.
Yeah, I don't want to try to move along the curve and unload. That's kind of hard. All right, here we go. So unloading for the first time. For reference, about 3 of my hopper fulls would be 1 semi-load, I think. And yeah, I think it's about 3 hoppers give me 1 semi. It looks like the guys, are they in another person's yard? We're gonna have to fix that. It looks like they are. Yeah, it looks like they're in somebody else's yard, and that guy actually hates it when other farm equipment is in his yard and using his driveway. So could you could you maybe hop in the other channel, Cat, and tell him to go ahead and park along the end rows of the field, close to the entrance. Typically, realistically, they would be kind of in a line facing the exit. So, for example, the semi would be first right in front of the field exit, and then the other tractors would be lined up behind the semi, ready to go and take the place of the semi.
Okay, I'll let them know.
Thank you. All right, so we're going to finish opening up this field, and we're going to get out of the cranky neighbor's... I mean, it's not unreasonably cranky. I don't want to make him sound bad or anything. But, okay. Here we go. So, we have the field basically opened up now. I don't know how we got off a little bit, but that happens sometimes. All right, so now I think I'm going to open up a... now that it's opened up on both sides, I can do what we typically do, which is... let me put the auger back, just to make sure we don't hit any of the other stuff there. What we typically do now is open up the middle of the field, and so that way I can kind of get unloaded from Cat on both sides. So I'm going to pick something like here. It's about half right in the middle of the field. We're going to try to get turned so that I'm somewhat straight. I need to find my GPS path. Okay, so I think it's trying to say that I'm on the other one. Yeah,
do I not follow you for this one?
You can. I'll be able to. You can either go down the other way or you can come down my way. Basically, what's happening now is that's a good question. So part of your job as the auger wagon, and you kind of work this in tandem with me, and I basically tell you. But it looks like it's gonna be. I can basically go. I think I can go down and back a round trip without having to unload, just for your future reference. So you can use that for planning when you, like, for example, when you leave me. Well, I'll talk about that later. But for right now, I'm going to unload going back to the south. So right now I'm going north for reference. I pulled up the map there for you guys. So I'm going north. I'm going to unload going south over on the east side of the field. So the side of the field that I already went on. So you can either follow me, or yeah, you're already following me. Or you could have gone back down the other side. Either way is fine. Earlier, Kat asked about, while we have some time here, earlier Kat asked about how when you go from the auger wagon, when you're on the auger wagon and you go to drive from the combine to the semi, for example, you don't drive catty corner across the field. At least for corn and soybeans. These are all road crops, and like how we have it set up, we have row crop tires, and we always basically try to drive in between the corn rows. So for example, the combine tires are a little bit wider than the standard 30-inch row, so that's not quite going to be perfect. But the idea is you don't want to accidentally cross... How to explain it? You want to cross as few rows as possible, because in 2 years' time... Indeed, in 2 years' time, for example, we're going to be planting corn with GPS on the exact same row. So each row is going to be exactly the same to where it is right now. So that's something to remember, because as we, in the future, we don't want to hurt our future yields with compaction while we harvest now. So, there we go. Oh, I didn't get it in time. Thought I could lower and go, still on cruise control. So, anyway, I gotta put my auger out now so we can unload the Cat. And yeah, so right now, I unloaded with Cat. I can't remember if I did any end rows or not, but I'm at 50%. So basically, I should be able to make a round trip on this field without having to unload. So that's a good metric there. I think right alt gives us, look at that. Look at that beauty. We'll get a good shot there. Unloading on the fly. I'm going 4 miles an hour for reference, Cat.
Okay, thank you.
So anyway, just to finish that thought, since the rows that the crops are planted on now are gonna be the future corn and soybean rows in the future, right? We don't want to cross them. We want to minimize the amount of times that we cross the rows as much as possible. So that's why you typically don't drive across the field diagonally. You typically try to follow either a track where the combine has already been or a track where the auger wagon has already been. So you typically want to go straight on the long rows until you reach the end rows. And the end rows are basically always your poorest yielding. There where everybody turns around on anyway. So crossing the rows there doesn't matter. You can't avoid it. So that's typically what I meant when I said you don't typically drive the auger wagon across the field diagonally. Does that make sense, Kat?
Yeah, so basically try to always drive, like, for example, on this in this field in a north to south direction.
Exactly.
Because obviously in game, like right now, I couldn't tell where the rows were because we've harvested them, but
right.
I know what direction they went in, so try and always keep it north to south.
Exactly.
Except on the end row.
That's exactly right. And in real life, it's a lot. Kind of bounce there. In real life, it's a lot easier to see because
well, in real life, you'd have a real terrain to see, wouldn't you?
Right. Yeah, I was just thinking about how I'm going to do this. I think I'm going to go down to the far end and do another pass, and we'll do the same thing. We'll unload going south. But I'm going to actually put my auger back now. We're going to go along this path a little bit. Try to figure out where my GPS line is. You know, it'd help if I kept the line. But, oh well. I think that's pretty good. Okay, so we're going to have a little bit of overlap there. Okay. So, let's set up cruise control, and off we go. All right, yeah. So, that's just what I mean, Kat. So, like, even when exactly you explained it right perfectly. I think you understand. But just to reiterate for the audience, even when there is an open field that you could cross diagonally to get to the combine faster, in general, you want to kind of pretend that the corn was still planted there, for lack of a better explanation, and go around to basically where either your path has already been or where the combine's already been. One of those. And then if you're coming the opposite direction to me and you're meeting the combine to unload, so for example, say I was heading this way towards the semis, and Kat was just finished unloading the semis. She was coming back to me to unload me on the fly. Well, then of course you'd have to turn around in the middle of the field. Of course you'll be crossing some of the lines there. Sometimes you cannot avoid it, but basically you avoid it where you can. And if you think about it, that's just one small spot in the field that's going to have a little bit more compaction than somewhere else, as opposed to if you have diagonal tracks all the way across the field, it looks really messy. Actually, they actually showed us, I remember seeing, I forget what farmer it was, but a neighboring farmer, he used to drive like that, but then he had yield mapping. And what yield mapping is basically the combine has GPS on it, and it tracks your yield instantaneously throughout the entire field. And so it'll pick up spots that are low yield. So you can see, okay, I have a really low yield in this one spot. Well, maybe I need to put some field tile in there to help water drainage because it's flooding, for example. So that might be one of the things you use yield mapping for. But he actually showed us his yield map, and it had it showed a reduced yield. You could clearly see lines going across the field that were red, which means it's worse yield relative to the rest of the field. It was red, and it was lines going diagonally across the field. And he was like, you know what those tracks were? And I was like, no, what's that? He's like, that's where I drove the auger wagon diagonally across the field. So, yeah, I mean, stuff like that actually matters. It actually picks it up on yield mapping and stuff. So, that's That's why we use that practice. Okay, we're gonna put out the auger. One other thing to note is if you look at the way the auger is angled, let's just do a demonstration. You wouldn't do this in real life, but you see how the auger basically clips the edge of the Kinsey here? So this is another important point for auger wagon drivers. You typically wait until, watch how the auger, it raises on an angle as I raise it. So in real life, if I would have done that and someone was pulled up alongside me, that could have potentially caused damage to the auger. So that's something that the auger wagon driver and the combine operator always need to be aware of. You know, don't pull up next to the combine if you're gonna go to unload, and you know, until the combine operator has a chance to raise his auger. And same for the combine operator. Look out to make sure there's nothing to your left before you go to raise the auger. Just for those that you know, little details for those guys that want to try to play realistically. And after this, I think this is basically a full semi-load, Cat, so you should be able to go and fill up the semi, I think.
Roger.
Yeah, how much? I just see you're at 83%. How much is that actually?
83, that is 31,176.
I think that's basically enough for a pretty close to full semi-load. So why don't you just go unload and
Okay.
and send the semi off?
Would I cover up here?
No. Typically you never
Okay.
cover the auger wagon up. Man, the front tires on that are slipping. Oh goodness.
Yeah, I'm struggling with traction here.
Yeah. So I mean, like at this point, Cat, you could turn around. You don't necessarily have to go all the way to the end of the row to turn around. It's just you want to minimize the amount of time that you're turning around in the middle of the field like that. Yeah, I think it looks like we need some more front weight on that tractor. I thought I raised my head, I guess not. I'm going to be operating out of the middle part of the field now, so you should be able to come and unload me from either direction. And I'm going to need you. Probably by the time you get back and unloaded. Yeah, so for reference...
moving as fast as this thing will actually go.
Yeah. In real life, it's generally a race to try to get back to the combine in time before the combine gets full. Looks like we missed a little bit there. So yeah, I mean and if I have to stop and wait, I've seen that happen to even some of the biggest operations where the combine has to stop and wait. So it's not the end of the world. But it's all about the goals of what we try to do. All right, let's actually keep that HUD up there. I like that. Let's get a good little aerial shot here of the Tazewell County in the fall. So for reference, Cat, the semi is about 3 times as big as the other gravity wagons. So about 1 load from me should fill up the gravity wagon pretty much all the way.
We've got a little issue here.
What's that?
There's a tiny slope and I don't have enough traction to get over it.
Have the semi back up.
Yeah, okay. I'm gonna have to jump back into other comms.
Yeah, you can just go in their channel and just tell him to back up, and then if he complains about not being all the way full, then send him on his way. Looks like that grain cart might be a little bit too much to handle for the auger wagon there. We're gonna have to back things up a little bit. I might actually want to dump onto Katrina now before just so I can keep moving. Because I don't want to have to stop later, and I'm already at 40% full. Yeah, so I'm gonna be pretty full basically on the other side of the field. So the weight pushed her. Oh yeah, that happened. That's just an unfortunate side effect sometimes. think I'm just gonna unload onto this this wagon here, just a partial load, just so I'm not gonna be stuck. There we go. Let's go watch that shenanigans. Yeah, that's we got someone on back, making sure that the load's going. I might have to give it a little bit more of a push. I don't know. All right, and I am away. All right, let's get back on this GPS track. And I think, well, here's going to be a perfect test. So we are completely empty. I guess I didn't hit GPS. I thought I hit GPS there. I guess I must have missed it. 1 second. Let's get our HUD back. Okay, yeah. So I'm just all kinds of messed up here. But let's go now. All right, let's go back and watch them offload some of that grain a little bit. There we go. Let's go watch that process. It's a pretty good look there. And let's see. It looks like Kat's emptying out. She's down to 43% at the moment. So it will be interesting. I thought maybe not. I thought one load should fill up the semi all the way. Yeah, that semi's filling up. It should be close enough that the semi would want to go. Generally, if you're like, 10 bushel or 25 bushel, something like that, you typically don't want to wait around for that. You just want to go. If you're close to full, you go. But he's at 70, so he might want to wait a little bit more. Actually, that's actually enough where you might want to put a little bit more in. I don't know. It's a tough call either way. It looks like he's going, and that's probably the right decision. I mean, technically, I think that semi is overloaded anyway if it was full. So, like, it'd be illegal if it was all the way full. So, 72% is probably, we could squeeze a little bit more on there. That's probably the right call. It's definitely the safer call, as opposed to going. And Kat's, you can stay in the middle there. You can stay in the middle. Stay in the middle. I'll be coming down the middle. You can come down the middle and turn around and unload on the fly that direction.
South to north or north to south?
I'll be going. Just come down the middle. Go south down the middle, and you'll see me. You'll have to turn around in the middle of the field, but.
I'll come down the side actually, rather than the middle.
Okay. Yeah. Either way. Okay, so
what's the realistic speed to be doing on the field with an empty wagon?
Empty is actually sometimes empty is actually sometimes almost worse because it bounces a lot and it kind of minimizes or it can wear some components. But I would say 15 to 20 maybe. If it's flat and you know where you're going, I probably wouldn't ever go more than 20 on a field, something like that.
Okay. Well, this does around about sort of 7. That seems about right.
What was that? You cut off with your.
Does around about 17, so that's not too bad.
Okay, yeah, that's pretty good for empty. Yeah, I mean, it really depends how aggressive you want to be. FYI, I dumped in the last gravity wagon. I didn't know how long it would take for you to get done with the semi backing up, etc. So I didn't want to have to stop, so I stopped down there and unloaded onto the gravity wagon.
Okay.
So that way, I figured if that'd be better than stopping in the middle of the field and waiting on you. But it turned out that you probably would have been able to get back to me in time. So let's see, how many liters do you have?
I currently have 7,000. 7,212.
Okay, let's stay alongside me. We'll dump onto you at the end of this row, and then I think I will. I think at that point you'll have enough to top off the gravity wagon Peter's end, and he can go home
Okay.
and dump then.
Okay, no worries.
So I'll try to time it right at the end. How much do we have left here? So, okay, there we go. Unloading. And come on, baby. All right, I am off. You are good to go. Let me go first. Let me turn first, actually, though.
Yep, I'm stopping.
All right.
What's your pipe?
All right, go ahead. Yeah. That's where, yeah, that was way too sloppy. We'll come back and get the rest of that later. That would have been knocking down some heavy corn if I came in at that angle. Oh boy. Yeah, Kat, you're doing it nice. I have seen a lot of guys fold, you know, they basically always keep their auger unfolded.
Oh, okay.
But depending on, you know, so it's really kind of almost a matter of preference at some point. But if you're going through the field somewhat fast, it does bounce a lot, and that connection isn't the most sturdy. I mean, it's sturdy enough; it can probably handle it. But to minimize wear, we actually typically fold down our auger every time, just to, you know, you never know when you're gonna hit an unexpected bump, and it might, you know, jar something loose or shear a bolt or something. But it's really personal preference for this server, I would say, just because I've seen guys do it in both, and you know, either way.
I've just got to jump back and coordinate on felon.
Yeah, no problem. The reason we're doing that is because this is a nice recorded video. I haven't recorded a video in a long time for you guys, so I wanted to try to record a nice, controlled, realistic video and just have a good talk with my viewers. I guess now's a good point to maybe talk about my channel outlook. I'm having so much fun playing on this map. I am sorry for those that were really looking forward to a West Coast episode. I will get back to that farm at some point, but right now I'm having so much fun playing this map. It's like it's a whole new game for me, honestly, because in the past I never liked playing this map just because I think it was in large part due to I didn't really have any John Deere equipment that I played with, so that was part of it, because we use almost exclusively John Deere equipment on our farm, and then also across the county, it's almost always John Deere. There's a few guys that run Case, but it's almost always John Deere, and so it just didn't feel real to me to see, you know, nothing was green out there other than the crops. There was no green equipment, and it's not like I think John Deere is the best, but it's I mean, it's what everybody uses, and it's what my dad used, and it's what my grandpa used, and you know, we have Tazewell County actually has the biggest single John Deere dealer in North America, called Cross Implement, down in Augineer. So, you know, that's another reason why it's so huge, because for the longest time, John Deere's been the only dealer in the area, and there's been a few others further away, but it's all about parts and service during the harvest, during the crunch time, because you got to get parts, you got to get the things moving again if you have a breakdown. So during the season, that's why you typically don't buy from a dealer far away. And then there's also a problem where if they have to come and pick it up, well, how are you going to transport a combine to a dealer that's 100 miles away or 200 miles away? It's yeah, so that's why we typically use John Deere. And then the other part of it was, it just wasn't much fun to play this map alone. You know, the most fun I have in real life is basically when I farm with my brother. Kat should be coming up alongside me soon. And so I think the other reason why I'm having fun on this map and I don't really want to play the West Coast at the moment is because Let's actually wait until I'm facing the other direction, Cat, I think.
Okay, no worries.
Yeah, I don't think we'll finish unloading, and I'm not going to get full. Yeah, so let me go and turn first, and then come meet me going back south.
Yep. Yes, I've noticed basically try to always stay behind the combine and always, give it plenty of space to do it. Never get in the way of its turning.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. That's exactly right. Because I mean, if you just remember the general rule, like I said, of try to keep the combine moving as smoothly as possible, then you'll just remember and you'll notice things like that naturally. Because if you're always thinking about the combine first, then you'll pick up on things like that. Yeah, like that's awesome because I didn't even tell you that, but you just naturally started lagging behind, letting the combine take the turns first, and that's very awesome. This is yeah. So anyway, just to finish that thought, I kind of like what Kat just said. There's so much stuff that you can't do with courseplay. I tried to do it on the West Coast, but it ended up just being a lot harder and more frustrating than anything. So instead of trying to do courseplay to do a realistic harvest, well, instead I'm doing a realistic harvest here on the land we farm in real life, and it just feels so much more real than courseplay ever could. And I will get back to the West Coast eventually, like I said, but for the time being, it's yeah. I wonder, actually, if it would be easier. Well, actually, you wouldn't really do that in real life. I just had a thought where, oh, looks like Platinum Turbo just reached the elevator. So that's actually another good metric to, we have money now. That's actually another good metric that I was thinking about, is how long does it take him to get down there? Do you know how long ago he left, Cat?
He didn't measure it, no.
All right, Peter's on his way back, and you're about ready to fill up Wayne. I think after I dump here, you should probably have enough for
what is the liter capacity of those gravity bins?
I think it's something like 13 or 1100. I forget.
Okay, I have enough for him. I'm going to turn off now.
Okay. Yep, and I am going to go up here and close my auger, because we're going to have to do something over here along right next to the fence. I didn't mean turn off my auger. I meant fold up my auger. All right, so let's go on in there. And based on where we're at, actually, Platinum Turbo could possibly take another way back home to the farm. Maybe I'll have to talk to him in the future, because at that point it might actually be faster. There's a back road you can take, and then you can go up on Unsicker Road, but I'm not sure if he knows that or not. Actually, it'd be interesting to see what direction he's going here. So here we go. So here's the rest of the field that we have not opened up yet, and I'll get to show you a little bit how we would have planted this. So we would have planted separate end rows right here, right? So that way we can get over to the corner. And obviously it's not square because it has the curve in the road right there. So you have part of the field that has the long rows, and you have the rest of the field that is a little bit diagonal. So basically, we planted 12 rows there along the road, and the rest of it is the long rows. So we'll work from this side. Actually, I should open up the end rows first. Did you have a question, Kat? I'm sorry, I just was talking over you.
No, I was trying to find a way of communicating with the guys without actually communicating with them.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, you could always go on the other channel, just to do that. If I wasn't always talking, it wouldn't be as much of a problem. Like I said, in real life, you would typically be on radios with everybody, and I wouldn't have a YouTube audience to worry about. So I would just, I mean, in real life, it's normally pretty silent unless you need something. Just admiring the countryside and the trees and the foliage and etc. Yeah, this so far it looks like this combine needs adjusted. I think I don't know. It's weird that the 7R has a front weight on it, but it looked like it was really struggling. So perhaps actually, I wonder if instead the auger wagon center of mass is off when it's full, which causes way more weight on the tongue than it would be in real life, which causes the front wheels to lift up no matter how much weight you have. Actually, that's a great idea. The next time the auger wagon gets all the way full, I think I'm gonna have a look at the weight distribution on that. That's all these mods. I will eventually upload them to the MR databank, but they are a work in progress, and so that's why I haven't done it yet. Just because for example, the combine head, it lowers the head too much. It lifts up the front wheels just slightly, and the auger wagon there, I think, is probably not balanced just right. Let's get a good shot of Peter here. Look at that. Going on home. Gonna dry the grain down a little bit and store it. I have made a few edits on this map that you guys aren't gonna see from the version 2.0 that's will hopefully get released eventually. As I make small changes like this, I will eventually upload the version that I'm using here to the public. But like one of them is I changed the price until, what is that? The liters until price drop. I changed because, well, basically in real life the corn price does change a little bit. Yes, it does change. However, it doesn't change drastically when you deliver 200,000 liters, because that grain elevator probably gets in, I don't know, 1 million bushels per day or something like that. I forget what their drying capacity is. It's something like 100,000 bushels per day or something like, or per hour. And we were off GPS there a little bit. We got to put out our auger. Kat was waiting patiently behind us, just like a good Augineer. She's been a very good Augineer. And let's see. Oh yeah, I wanted to look at what direction Platinum Turbo was coming home. So he's coming home Allentown. Okay. All right, and now we are going to unload. Let's get a little bit of pipe cam action here. Whoops, I need to be on the harvester for that. I had the head selected. Look at that. Good old pipe cam. That looks really weird. That's starting to make me a little dizzy. Let's get away from that. All right. So I think after I finish unloading Cat, I should be able to finish the rest of the field without having to unload onto you. So I think you can basically go on the other end of the field now. Well, I don't know. Maybe just this is going to be a little bit tricky because it's got a oh wait, do I still have the auger out? Ugh.
Oh, very nearly, sir.
That was bad. That's
Your
why.
dad would have been very disappointed.
Yeah, that's why my dad always preaches, just put back the auger. Always put back the auger. You never know. In the middle of an open field, you never know when you're gonna get next to a building or something. I remember there's an area farmer who my mom gives the kids piano lessons, and they came to a piano lesson one time during the fall with the story about how their dad was driving the combine home after operating the field all day close to home. So he's driving on the, not on the roads, but through the fields, through little access lanes, and they forgot they had the auger out, and they whacked it against the side of a building, and then you're basically done for for at least a day. I mean, that shuts down the combine for a day until you can get that replaced. That's if you've ever worked with metal, there's no easy way to bend it back in place and make it perfect again. You just have to replace it. So, yeah, that's the way of it. Now that this field's done, we could actually go dump some lime on this field, start spreading it, and we can begin with a little bit of the tillage after that. I think on this map, even though we are, you don't technically have to do it in real life, but just for a little bit of gameplay purposes, I have made the server where it's it's kind of a no-till farm, but I've made it so that we disc the corn stalks because the planters are all, they don't have direct seeding on them. So there's Platinum Turbo left. Platinum Turbo can actually go around to field number 4. We're going to be going over there next. So let's see. Typically, so this is another note of realism. Now, I don't know that we have to play this way because this part doesn't necessarily matter that much to me. But in real life, you keep fields separate. And basically what we would do here is we would dump all of this onto a wagon, for example, and that wagon would take it home. Yeah, let's just go ahead and roleplay that.
Sim, are we going to number 4?
Yeah, we're going to 4, but just one final note that you can tell the guys. Typically, you keep track of the amount of crop that you get off each field separately, and the only way to do that is you don't mix the grain. So, for example, even if one of the wagons has to go home and dump, with 100 liters or 500 liters, well, 100 liters you'd probably ignore. But if someone has to go home with 100 liters, they would just go home with, a really small load, dump it, and then meet us over on the other field. Just because you don't mix it. It's the only way to accurately measure yield in each field, what your actual yield was, not something from like a monitor. And then you also do that for I'm not certain, but I think you have to do it for insurance reasons. But that's what I'd like to do. So
okay, no worries.
Maybe you could unload this little bit onto Peter, and then tell Platinum Turbo to kind of wait on the road next to me over on field 4.
Oh, okay.
So it's kind of a shame that we're gonna have to transport on the road for such a small distance, but realistically, that's what we do because this Grandpa's 80 still has soybeans in it. There's no way to cut across it without destroying some soybeans. So, and we're not gonna drive in that guy's yard. So, I'm gonna. No, you're fine. You're fine, Platinum. Oh, okay. Well, that's fine. I was gonna try to go around him. Instead, he maybe have gotten the semi stuck. Yeah, this is another reason why. Yeah, there we go. He got it. He got it now. All right, so he's gonna have to turn around at some point, but that was just the easiest way to get out of the combine's way. We're gonna go around and start on field 4. Realistically, for power lines, I don't know. I guess we'll just leave the grain tank open. Honestly, in Illinois, I rarely see. I actually didn't even know that combines had a grain tank that. Whoops. Thank you, buddy. I didn't even realize that combines had a grain tank that folded up, just because I never see that in Illinois. They have the static one on top. It doesn't fold, or maybe other farmers just never fold it up when they drive on the road. There's really no reason to. There's no low bridges. Well, rarely a low bridge, and it's there's not a lot of stuff to hit on the open road, so people just typically don't fold them up, or either they don't have that option. Like I said, I didn't even know it existed till I got in the game here. But that's part of the fun of playing Farming Simulator. You learn a lot of stuff about farming that you never knew. We've got a lot of soybean harvesting. Someone's going to have a lot of fun with the soybean harvest. Unfortunately, I don't know how much of it I will be able to show. I will be able to stream some on Saturday, but for this harvest, I think that I will be ending this recorded video now. So look for the let's see. Well, let's see how accurate GPS is. No, let's go a little bit more and try to go straight. And then we will... There we go. Let's set the GPS course from here. So, can actually see where our lines are at. Yeah, we're right on a line. So let's hit new. And take the lines off. And there we go. Alright. And I can actually turn my hazards off. And my flashers off. Let's actually get this field opened up down here first. So this is something else you do sometimes. So this is another thing where I don't know. Let's see. Cat might have to hop in the other room and tell them. Because, yeah, typically, again, you're on another person's lawn right now, Wayne. So you'd pull into your own field. And why is there no chopped straw? Maybe it's just not updated yet. Chopped straw all of a sudden stopped working? That's kind of weird. Yeah, it's not like a toggle thing. Let's actually keep going a little bit. We'll go along this end row. And I don't know if chop straw is just not working or if it... Every network. Well, that's weird. I don't know why chop straw stopped working. It's got a gearbox here, but nothing else. That's kind of weird.
So you want me to let Wayne know that he's currently in someone's garden?
Yeah, exactly. It's just,
okay,
you know, it's a lot of... that's why I decided to open up this end of the field first, Cat, so people can kind of park in the field instead of in someone else's yard.
Okay.
It's the tractors... I mean, in real life, when you drive on grass, you can clearly see the impact of the tread, and it's not nice for a lawnmower to drive across that after the fact, you know.
No worries.
All right. Actually, I think we're going to go back and do the same thing. It looks like we got, I think that might have been Anik. We got someone over there that looks like they might start spreading some lime on the field. That's another thing that I'll have to talk about in another episode. Maybe I'll show that on a stream on Saturday. I should have some time to stream on Saturday for you guys, so hopefully we'll get that going. Whoops. I accidentally killed some corn. And we're going to kill some beans just a little bit. Yeah, that's ugly. Okay. Let's get going here. Just, there we go. Okay, that wasn't too bad. And did, I wonder what chop straw isn't working. I mean, there's no reason why it wouldn't work on this field when it works on another one, right? Well, we did buy... I wonder if it's different because we did buy field... That other field, but this one we own from the start. So is chop straw not working in the default fields? That doesn't make sense. Kat, do you see chop straw on this field?
I do not see any chop straw.
But you saw it on the other field, right?
Yes. By chop straw, you meant all of the chop...
The cornstalk stuff, texture, yeah.
No, all I've got is the little tiny cork sticks, that's it.
Yeah, me too. which is wrong. Why would it do it on one but not the other?
Have you accidentally hit one of the swath buttons or whatever it's called?
I tried hitting it and it just said that swathing is not available for this crop type or something like that. That's I'm gonna have to troubleshoot that a little bit. That's really weird.
Yeah, isn't that important, because that's like one of our stages of fertilization technically, isn't it?
It is. I think with our process we would get the stage of fertilization anyway, but yeah.
Also the realism.
Yeah, exactly. It just looks better. This looks like we're not even harvesting anything. It's pretty horrible, actually. Alright, I'm going to go down on this side of the field, actually, Kat. So if you could... Let's see where GPS is. Yeah, it's way off. So we're just going to... let's see, how would we do this in real life? Well, if we start on the other side of the field, okay. We'll just do it this way. Yeah, I don't know. That looks so ugly. I'll just drive from inside the cab, then you don't see it as much. Why would... I wonder if it's just something where we need to cultivate it once to reset the textures or something. There's no error. I don't get... That doesn't
Is this
make
one
any
that
sense.
hasn't been cultivated by us? Was this previously already here, sort of thing?
It was... The only difference is we owned this field from the start, and the other one that we... what is that? Field 10? We actually purchased Field 10.
That might be what it is then, because this is corn from, you know, did we plant this corn ourselves?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure we planted this ourselves. I'm pretty sure all the corn we planted. I don't know. It's kind of weird.
It's not like in the stock game where you start off with a few fields.
Wait a minute, here I have chopped straw. What the?
Okay.
Oh, you know what? I wonder if I accidentally messed up the, what is that called? I'm pretty sure I deleted it, but maybe I put it back somewhere. The game has a, what's it called? A ground mask that will prevent you from dumping in certain parts of the map. Actually, could you do a test, Kat? Real quick, can you try manually unloading? Actually, I could try that with the auger. I'm going to need you down here, by the way.
Oh, okay, on my way.
Got a little bit of soybeans in the corn there. We're just going to drive right through it. I could actually try to manually unload and see what happens. Well, here it won't work. Yeah, try over there on the side where you. Yeah, we gotta. I'm gonna need you first.
I haven't got anything on board anyway.
But do. Oh, that's right. That's right. There we go. We got someone spraying over there. I forget who that is. Is that Anik?
I believe so.
Spreading lime. I'm gonna need to back out all the way. Sorry, I should have told you that. What we're gonna do is, yeah, if you can back around the corner, I'm gonna open up the field with. You can do it. Just start cranking it now. Or, yeah, that's.
Don't try not to crush the plants
just,
as well.
Yeah, just.
Your neighbour said he didn't mind as it's tracks.
Yeah. My neighbor, maybe he's gone for the day and he won't care. Because he won't, well, he'll feel them when he goes out there with the lawnmower, but. Okay, so I'm going to go just enough and then I'll probably have to, well, I'll see how far I can go. I might be able to make it to the end. But anyway,
he said it's just fine. He's planning on planting some trees here.
Yeah, then we won't be able to do it ever.
That's why he's putting trees there.
Yeah. I did want to say, I want you to do a test over on that other side that does not show chop straw. Can you just tap the manually unload button and see if it gives you an error?
When I go to unload the onto the gravity wagons, I'll just dump some on the floor quickly.
Okay.
But I need to have something first.
Okay, I think, let's see, where are we gonna do this? I guess come down next to me now. I'm gonna
Do you
go
want me
through
to
the middle of the field.
just yeah? I was gonna say you're gonna run up through the middle, yeah?
Yeah. Yeah. So we'll unload here, and this will give you a good load for someone. I guess the semi driver can come in on the actual field to turn around. That's kind of what the inroads are for. You know, he can come in, turn around, and then kind of line up ready to go again on the edge of the field. Unless he thinks that he can't get out of the field fully loaded. That might be why he's not doing that.
Also, you did tell him to wait on the road.
Oh, right. Because I just meant while I'm getting the field opened up.
Yeah, okay, no worries.
Yeah.
I'll once I'm full, I'll pop into the other chat and coordinate with him.
Yeah, you typically don't unload onto the road like that unless the field doesn't have a ditch. I mean, because you'd have to pull the auger wagon out in the middle of the road to unload onto him, and that's generally not nice for other cars. So, typically you don't do that, at least around this part of the Midwest. I know some parts on more deserted roads you can actually do that, but in general you don't do that here just because the ditches are high. And look at that, he's already stopping traffic. Just as I said it. Oh, here comes another car that's gonna be angry. Oh boy.
I'll let him know.
Yeah.
Are you gonna cut all the way through the field? Because I might just follow you.
Yeah, I'm gonna go all the way through.
Okay, pop into the next chat.
Yeah, all right, guys. Well, I think that I'm gonna be done here with the recording. Like I said, I might be on streaming tomorrow. I'm not sure where we'll be with the harvest. It looks like we have some wheel lanes in the crops there. That's what I was telling you about. The tires just aren't proper sized. That was a mistake we made on the sprayer. So that's my fault. I was trying to rush and do some converts. But yeah, anyway, I think this will just about end this little recorded episode here. Again, I am sorry that it's not the West Coast. I do hope you guys understand, but it's kind of like the game kind of feels like it's a brand new game to me at this point, and it's really hard to not play on this map. So I do appreciate you guys understanding. There's Wayne with his little fast moving. But anyway, let me know what I can do to improve the experience for you guys. I hope you enjoyed this video. I hope you subscribe if you enjoy my content, and I do thank you for watching. And if you have any questions, or if you have any differing opinions on anything that I said, be sure to leave them in the comments below. The thing that I've learned is everybody kind of does things a little bit different, and in some cases there's no wrong or right way to do it. But in a lot of cases, the reason you do things a certain way is because it just works out best that way. Overall, if not, then it works out best for your area, for the type of farming that you do. For example, like unloading on the roads. I know that's commonplace in a lot of other parts of the Midwest, but not in Tazewell County. The ditches and the fast traffic and the what am I trying to say? The frequency of traffic. These roads are used a lot by a lot of people, so it's not like something you can just stay on the side of the road and do. Anyway, I hope that you guys enjoyed, and special shout out and thank you to everybody on my server who played realistically and is having a lot of fun. And all right, thank you all, guys. Until next time. This will be one of my quickest goodbyes ever. I don't know really what else left to say, but thanks for stopping by.